Well, man, thanks for joining us today. I'm a huge fan. Our audience is going to know you mostly for your work with Michael Monroe and the New York Dolls, but that's only a fraction of your career, and I want to talk about as much of it as we can. And let's start with the timely stuff. You've got a new single and a new video. The song is called "We Like It" off of your album, The Concrete Jangle. Clever play on words there, Steve.
Thank you for getting that correct. You don't know
Yeah.
how many people have said the concrete jungle. Yeah, that's what it would be if I wanted to name it the same old thing that everyone else
Right.
named their album.
And the Rickenbacker is a bit of a clue as
It's a
well.
clue if you're in the know, but a lot
Yeah.
of people aren't in the know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, your
Thank
single,
you.
yeah, the single and the video, special guests on that video. We've had a lot of them on this show. We've had Tommy Price and
Oh, right on.
the Black Halos and
Danko Jones.
Danko Jones. We love Danko.
Is Tommy in the video?
I don't think he's in the video.
Oh, because
I
singing Ian Hunter, Michael Imperioli, some big names that I wasn't able to get for the video. I mean, actually, it's kind of good that I couldn't get them all because there's only 15 times that we say, yeah, we like it. And I already had to gang up sometimes 3 or 4 people in one screen at the same time. I would have never been able to fit everybody. There's like 60 people that sing on it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a testament to your vast circle of friends and musical connections. So
I hope so.
yeah, it's a great song too. Nice guy. It's kind of got a glam rock sort of backbeat, and it's a bit of a stomper, and it's obviously memorable right off the bat. So tell us a little bit about you could start with that song or just the album as a whole. I know the album you wrote about half of it with your songwriting hero, Andy Partridge.
That's right.
Andy Partridge from XTC. How long have you known him, and how did this songwriting collaboration come about?
I met, let's see, going all the way back to the early 2000s, we had a mutual friend who built guitars for him and who repaired my guitars in New York. And when I heard that my friend Dennis Fano, he makes guitars called Fano guitars, which now he's sold, and now it's called Novo guitars. But he was making an acoustic for Andy. I said, "You're kidding me." I said, "You got to give Andy my latest record. I think he'd really love it." It was an album I did with my brother called Bleed Together, and we were calling ourselves the Contes.
Right.
And it was a very adventurous musically kind of thing. It went from like psycho Billy garage to like jazz lounge. It was really creative, underrated, and I think it should be re-released now.
Yeah.
But anyway, Andy really liked the album, but we weren't personally in touch. I got messages back through my friend, and then it wasn't until I joined the New York Dolls and started, I became friends with Steve Lillywhite, producer, who had done 2 XTC albums, Black Sea and Drums and Wires. And we were chatting one day on Twitter, and we roped Andy into the conversation, and Andy said, "Hey, you stole my dream gig. I wanted to be the guitarist in the New York Dolls." And I went, "I had no idea. That's really wild." And we just started chatting after that, and sending each other private messages. And then I was coming through his town of Swindon in England with Alice Cooper. I was on the road with Michael Monroe. We were opening for Alice. And Andy said, I hear you'll be in my shithole town. I'll buy you lunch. And I was like, yes. So we that day, Andy came pick me up at the arena. We went out. We had lunch. I came back. I played the show with Michael, and then I jumped on stage with Alice and did School's Out. So what a day that was.
Man, that's good.
And it was like hanging out with an old friend. I mean, we had never been in each other's presence before, but we knew enough about each other. I was a huge fan of his. I don't know what he thought about my music besides that one album years before. But yeah, we just got along really great. And then he started giving me really great write-ups and reviews and quotes for my next couple albums. I think it was Bronx Cheer and also Steve Conte NYC.
Yeah.
And then I asked him point blank, I said, would you like to write my next single for me for Wicked Cool Records? And he said, well, it's not a no, but I sort of swore off writing with other people. And I said, well, not a no is encouraging. So I ran away and whipped up this track that I thought he'd really like. And I sent it to him and he was like, it's great, but it sounds too finished. He goes, why don't we start something from scratch?
Wow.
And he said, let's do a Zoom. I said, great. And we were supposed to write one song, and we ended up doing a bunch of Zooms and writing 8 songs.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So when you're writing with one of your heroes like that, and you're an accomplished songwriter yourself. What do you learn from Andy when you're having these sessions?
Oh my God, man. I mean, completely different approach to songwriting than I have.
Okay.
I've tried to like figure out how to make it natural to me, but it's really his unique thing. He hears music as colors and pictures.
Wow.
So when he hears a riff, like we were writing one of the songs, and he played this chord, and he went, "Ooh, sounds like a bell." And we kept playing it, and dang, and he's like, "One last bell is." He just came out with the, okay, wow, it's a song about a bell, and what's the bell mean? And and then we, you get a hook, you get a title, you get a vibe for what the song is, sounds like, and then you write it from there. So we were like, well, what does the bell stand for? It stands for truth and freedom, and this bell is going to usher in a new era of truth and out with the old misinformation, and this is hopefully, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who knows what's really going to happen? But that was our wish.
Yeah.
So that's just one example of how he, he's a painter and an artist. So he really thinks visually and hears visually. I more or less, if I have a piece of music first, sometimes, I'll go through 100 different, lyrics and hooks until I find one that clicks,
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like putting things together rather than, what does this sound like? Does this sound like a cucumber, or whatever? I mean, I don't think like that. So, it's really unique.
It's really cool that you could, Zoom, be in a room, whatever, with someone you have that much respect for, and walk away going, holy shit, and like learn, because there's not one way to write a song.
Yeah.
And you know that, and he knows that, and just to like, even to like soak up the way that someone else who you respect does it, probably can help you. And has it helped you as a writer, like just moving forward on your own shit?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
and even on the same album, I mean, I had to, we wrote 5 songs. We wrote all the songs on side A. So tracks 1 through 5. And I didn't arrange it this way on purpose to put all the Conte Partridge. He insisted that my name go first, by the way, which is very humble of him. But I didn't like put those first, like, okay, here's the great songwriter stuff first. It just worked out that way. And as I was arranging the album, what felt good going from one thing to another, I was like, oh, look at that. All the Partridge Conte songs are on one side. But I had to pick 5 other songs of mine that would go along with those. And I picked a couple of older ones, Girl with No Name and Motor City Love Machine were both from the 80s. I mean, I wrote them 40 years ago.
Wow.
Motor City Love Machine had updated lyrics. It was called something else back then. But, he raised the bar for me. So I was like, I can't have no shabby songs on side 2.
Right.
And actually, some people who've listened to the album said, you know, I thought that was one of Andy's, you know, your second side stuff. And
Okay.
wow, I like your stuff as much as the you and Andy stuff. And I was like, God, you know, that's a huge compliment.
Wow.
But even in the songs I was writing with him, people have said, oh, that line must be Andy's. And like, no, it's actually mine. You know, like some weird lyrics that I thought I would never be able to get into a song, like Quasimodo and oligarch. And there's some really strange words, a pyromaniac, you know, like I would never try and put those words in, but I played it for him. I was like, Andy's going to hate these because they're too weird. And of course, who am I thinking is too weird? Andy Partridge is a fucking weird songwriter and a great weird songwriter.
Not specific to what you're telling us now, but when you're writing lyrics, do you have, like, I have just stacks of notes everywhere, and I go through them all the fucking time. They're fucking here we go. It's the same shit. Yeah, same shit. Yeah,
Binders
exactly.
on top of binders on top of binders.
I
don't even see them anymore.
This is only the top layer in my drawer.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I got the same disease, man.
There's 100 of these.
Yeah.
You
know? So
and cassettes. You know, look at this. 90-minute cassettes from you know the 80s, 90s. You know,
yeah.
That's just